Hi, my name is Gunther and we're here for a blackboard explanation simplifying a lot of commonly asked questions in photography. What we're going to discuss today is full frame sensors versus crop sensors. If we have a look where full frame came from, it used to be the same size as the old 35mm film in the old days. But it used to be quite an expensive, and still is, expensive technology. What effect this has is, if you're shooting on a 100mm lens and you shoot a little person with it, or a subject, that would be your image. If you put that same 100mm lens on a crop sensor, you're physically just using a smaller sensor. That means you would have the effect that you are actually closer to your subject. The advantage of this is wildlife. If you're shooting birds, all of a sudden you're using the same lens, but you're still getting a little bit closer. So there are advantages to crop sensors. They're cheaper, it's easier to reach something that's far away or that's small, but there are major advantages to full frame and why people should move across to full frame. One of these advantages is ISO handling. Now, to simplify this explanation, what I can do here is I can draw a little corner. Let's say both of these sensors come from cameras that both have 24 megapixels. That means you've got 24 megapixels squished into this little block over here, which means these pixels are super tiny and condensed into a little corner. If you're having a look at the full frame, it's got more space. So you've got a little bit more mature pixel sizes over here. And what that happens when you're pushing up your ISO, all of a sudden your sensor is a lot more sensitive, and you'll have a situation where on this you've got pixels fighting it out. You know, who's purple, who's pink, who's blue, and all of a sudden your noise skyrockets. So you get loads of noise at low ISOs, say from 640 and upwards, just roughly speaking. We're in a situation with the full frame sensors. These little guys are a lot more mature. So all of a sudden you can push up your ISO to 3200 and even higher. Some of the guys shooting at 9000 ISO and still giving that to clients. They're happy with the image quality, it's really sharp. So your ISO handling is much better on a full frame. The bigger pixel sizes or the density on it gives it a much better and richer dynamic range. So the amount of colors and everything that you're capturing up on a full frame sensor is just so much better. And that is why a full frame really pays in the end. Another little demonstration that I want to give here, on Nikons you get a DX sensor, which is a 1.5 crop. And on Canon you get the 1.6 crop. That, to explain that, you basically take your focal range, the 100mm, and you times it by the crop factor that you've got. So on Nikon it's going to be 1.5, which will give you 150 millimeters. And that is the quickest way to see where what is going. Now, another simple explanation that I want to give. You get DX or crop sensor lenses. What that basically does, it's a lens that covers the sensor of a crop frame camera. You get FX lenses that cover the size of the full frame sensor. You can use full frame lenses on crop sensors because it still covers the whole sensor, but there are certain restrictions that come into play when you use a crop sensor lens on a full frame. You'll inevitably either damage the camera or this will be completely vignetted out. Nikon cameras do have a great feature where they can actually automatically pick up. It's a DX lens and they'll only use a part of a crop version of the sensor itself. So it'll crop it down, makes it easier to switch over to full frame on Nikon's side. On Canon's side you get the EF and EFS lenses. These are for crop and these are full frame. So both of them will fit on the crop, but only the EF will fit on the full frame. Please do not put EFS lenses on a full frame Canon. They do not work, they will damage your camera. If there are any other questions, please follow us on our YouTube channel, drop a couple of comments. If you've got suggestions or questions, hit us up there, follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. Thank you.